Okay. Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to today's event titled Enhancing Student Innovation Through Generative AI and Prompt Engineering with AWS PartyRock. It's a pleasure to have everyone here today. It's been about a month since our last event, which was back in December. Okay, this is about 2 months now, which was back in December, and it's very, very great to have everyone here now. So without further ado, I'll be introducing myself and introducing my co-host and the guest speaker for today. My name is Paula Deroju. My final year student of the College of Medicine University of Lagos, and I'm the co-host of today's event. I'm also the AWS Cloud Club co-captain at the University of Lagos, and it's a pleasure to be here. Manuel, please, could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. Good day, good evening, everyone. My name is Manuel Oni. I'm also a University of Lagos student as well, studying systems engineering, currently 400 level to be precise. Also, um, the co-host of today's event as well, and also the co-captain as well of the AWS Cloud Club captain for the UNILAC chapter as well. Thank you very much.
All right.
Over to you,
Um,
Paul.
okay. All right. Thank you very much, Manuel. Um, so today, as I said earlier, we'll be discussing enhancing student innovation through generative AI and prompt engineering with AWS PartyRock. We have a special guest today, but I will not introduce him now until he's about to speak. But before we continue, I'd like to see you in the chat section. Please let me know your name and probably where you're joining from. Okay, I can see Noibi Lamineko. So Noibi says, hi everyone. Hi Noibi, it's great to have you here. Okay, Sharif Sani says, hello everyone, it's great to have you. Welcome everybody. So yeah, Noibi said, glad to have Curtis with us today. Okay, that's nice. I think Noibi has done his homework and he has gone to do some research. Great to see. All right, so without further ado, I'll be going into the main schedule for today. So I'll be doing a quick presentation now on the overview and fundamentals of generative AI. I'm sure a lot of us have heard about generative AI, heard about prompt engineering, you've heard about AWS PartyRock. So before we go into the main thing, which is AWS PartyRock, I'll be doing a presentation on generative AI just to give an overview about what generative AI is. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Right. Okay. Hey, why you doing? Hey, why you doing packaging? Right, please let me know if my screen is visible. Mano.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so what exactly are you saying?
Yeah, the generative AI overview and fundamentals.
Okay, right. Great. So yeah, generative AI overview and fundamentals. As I said before, my name is Paula Deroju. I'm the co-captain at the AWS Cloud Club, University of Lagos. Right. Um, so before I go on, I would like to just ask this question: what is generative AI? Right? Well, I've heard those terms a lot of times, but what exactly is generative AI? Well, generative AI refers to a class of artificial intelligence that involves machines generating content autonomously. So I'll break this down so that we can understand. So generative AI itself is actually a subset of artificial intelligence, which basically enables machines to autonomously produce diverse content showcasing a significant leap in machine learning capabilities. Unlike traditional AI models that are bound by, say, predefined rules, generative AI is able to empower machines to actually independently create content such as text, images, audio, and videos. So it is worthy to note that some examples of generative AI that are very common nowadays. We know OpenAI's GPT model. I'm sure a lot of us use GPT. We can see the remarkable way it's able to demonstrate human-like text generation based on prompts and also advanced image synthesis and voice generation. So I'm going to give a brief history of generative AI. At least in recent times, there's a much broader brief history which goes back to machine learning models. Well, I do not want to bore us with those ones. So I'll just do like the ones that are kind of relevant to us now. So sometime in June 2020, OpenAI released a language model, which was ChatGPT 3. It was considered a breakthrough in natural language processing. Its ability to generate coherent, human-sounding text. And 2 years later, in 2022, we got Deus 2 beta that was released to everyone in September. And then in January of 2023, we got Jasper. And in January 5 of 2023, we got another version of OpenAI's GPT. And then we got some newer technologies like Google's DeepMind later last year, and Stability AI and Sequoia Capital predicts that by 2030, AI will be producing better finished content. And I think that prediction is probably going to be a lot faster to accomplish as we have been seeing the latest advancements so far. All right. So what's how does AI work basically? Like what's how does it really work? So the basic principle of AI is actually training on large data sets. So the thing about generative AI is that it excels by absorbing insights from extensive data sets. So and this process itself is akin to machine learning apprenticeship, which equips the model to generate its knowledge and generate novel content. So it does this by analyzing complex data sets and identifying patterns and relationships that may not be, apparently that may not be apparent to humans like immediately. So now, for example, generative AI can analyze vast amounts of text data to understand probably the nuances in language and also generate coherent and grammatically correct sentences. So, for example, now, I don't know, but recently, like a lot, I have been using generative AI to make my writings better. So most times when I'm trying to write like a long passage or a long paragraph, when I write to probably improve my grammar or to pass my message across better, I use generative AI to actually make it work, and it's very good. So it does this by analyzing the amount of text data to understand the nuances of language, and then generate current and grammatically correct sentences. Um, so now, as I said earlier, so we have real world applications of generative AI. So I know that a lot of us would know about Mid Journey, right? So you just look at the screen, you can see that we have, I think there's a V6 now, but you can see the differences in the image generation by Mid Journey from version 1 to version 5 here. So Mid Journey, I'm just using Mid Journey as an example. They significantly improved image generation by enhancing the performance, user experience, and technological innovation. They deliver very high resolution detailed images that rival or even surpass leading AI generators. So we have a latest version, Midjourney 6, that has done some substantial improvements in AI text and image generation and is able to create more realistic and complex scenes with better accuracy. So as with every new technology or new developments, we're going to be having challenges with them. Firstly, challenges in generative AI, the first one is ethical concerns, right? So definitely generative AI has the potential to be misused for creating something called deep fakes. So which are that kind of like manipulated data that can deceive viewers into believing something that is not true. For example, now I'm doing online, you can see some people actually using people's voices, their images, right, to generate fake content. So these are some of the ethical issues that you see with generative AI. And then we also have bias in models. Generative AI models are trained on very large data sets. And if these data sets contain biases, um, it may produce data, it may produce like the results, the biases will be seen in the output, basically, and this can lead to unfair outcomes such as discriminatory treatment of certain groups. Recently, we were able to see Google recently released some a new generative AI recently, and we kind of saw some things with this bias there. I do not want to probe too much into that, but I think anyone who has been online has seen what I'm talking about. So this is kind of the bias in models. And then lastly, security. Security is very important. Um, as I said earlier, generative AI technology can be misused for malicious purposes, such as creating fake accounts or even impersonating people, prominent individuals online. And this can lead to definitely to security breaches and compromise the privacy of individuals and organizations. So before I finish, I'll leave us with this quote by Jeff Bezos, which says that every new thing creates two new questions and two new opportunities. Right. So I just want you to reflect and think back on these quotes. There's a lot of advances in technology lately, a lot of recent developments, and these are new things. So from this, you should be able to say that opportunities abound in these places and questions abound. So you should be asking yourself questions. How can I use this thing? What can I learn from this thing? How can I use this thing to probably work on projects to improve myself, right? And look for opportunities in this space. So this is a general overview of generative AI. And thank you for listening to my presentation. So I'll be going over now to Emmanuel. All right. Mal, are you there?
Oh, yes, I am. So I'll be
All
sharing my
right.
screen.
Okay. Emmanuel, let me know when you're ready.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I don't
So
know if my slides are visible.
yes, they have now. They're visible now.
Yeah, they're there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening once again. My name is Manuel, just as I said earlier on, and I'll be walking us through the introduction of prompt engineering. Just as Paul has actually mentioned, I mean, the prompt engineering works hand in hand with the AI and has actually given an excellent walkthrough as regards the introduction of AI as well. And I think he has captured a lot of these things as well in that. So we're looking quickly into the introduction of prompt engineering. So first of all, what is prompt engineering? So as I have here, prompt engineering is the process where you guide generative artificial intelligence, that's the generative AI solutions, to generate desired outputs. Even though generative AI attempts to mimic humans, it requires detailed instructions to create high quality and relevant output. So first of all, I think a lot of us will be familiar with what prompt engineering is. Probably not in the word itself, but in our activities day to day, as how we interact with technology generally. A lot of us we've been able to interact with the likes of the ChatGPT solutions, even down to our basic interaction with technology, such as example like the calculator. We putting in instructions and it being able to give us the desired response. I think is an example, is a third example of what prompt engineering is. So now moving it down to the phase of what generative AI is all about. I think one of the core drivers of the generative AI is the ability for you to be able to ask and passing certain instructions to the AI, and it's be able to give you response tailored to the request that was being sent across. And I think it's one of the driving force of the generative AI phase of which we are currently. I know this is not something that we are kind of like that is kind of really strange to us. A lot of us have like walked around couple of things as regards generating images, generating text with the likes of ChatGPT, the likes of Bard, and other generative AI tools out there. I mean, it's really like one of the coolest thing that's like really been happening lately in the technology space as at now. So in whole, prompt engineering basically is the process that helps us to be able to, that guides us to be able to give in instructions and be able to generate desired output based on the instructions we pass across the AI models, basically. I'll move into the next slide. Okay, so that's like an overview of what prompt engineering is. Then we're now looking into what a prompt is basically. So what do we mean by a prompt? So a prompt basically is a natural language text that requests the generative AI to perform specific tests. For example, I know a couple of times I've been able to like walk around ChatGPT to, okay, for example, to summarize a particular paragraph. So I pass in the paragraphs, then I give it an instruction for it to be able to summarize that particular paragraph, and it gives a tailored response um, based on what I actually passed across. And this is and what I actually did in that process was more of a prompt, telling the generative AI to be able to give me an output based on what I actually give in. And this is all what prompt engineering basically is. So the process of me putting in or passing the instruction basically is a prompt. So this is what prompt is. So it's like a natural language test. For example, I want to draw a, say, like a fish diagram basically, and the generative AI is able to pull up fish diagram up and is able to give you that response. So what I did was just to pass in the prompt and it's able to give me that response based on that. So that's that on what is a prompt. And in all of this, why are we even looking at what prompt engineering? Why is prompt engineering really important? So the first point for me is it helps to improve the user experience. So a lot of times when we are interacting with technology, the ability for us to be able to get response or to get solutions to our request or to our request basically, I think is one of the key drivers of what prompt engineering really stands for. And if you look at it really closely, it has really like helped to like evolve businesses. It has helped businesses, even society in itself, to be able to like be more engaged, be more engaged, and be more productive, and have that kind of like efficiency as well as regards that. So it helps us to be able to improve our user experience with products, with services across bounds. Secondly, it helps with the increased flexibility. So we are not tied down to just a particular scope. We have now like leverages to be able to like requests based on a wide scope of things that we are not even like really proud. We don't really have like knowledge to. For example, there are a couple of times where I don't really know anything about a subject matter, but because I know that this is something that this is like what I actually want to get from what I'm actually looking into, and I pass in instructions of that particular question. I pass that across to the chat GPT, I mean to the artificial intelligence model, and it draws up solutions, it draws up answers based on those inputs I give to it, and it helps me to be able to draw up. It even goes as far as giving recommendations, giving references to the answers for me to like for further reading or for further study and all of that. So it helps to increase flexibility in that sense. And And the last on my slide here is efficiency. As we are able to interact more often with technology, it helps us to increase our efficiency. So for a fact that we are supposed to spend, say, 1 hour, we doing it ourselves manually, with generative AI, with the prompt engineering in itself, we're able to like ask the generative AI technologies out there, and it's able to give us feedback. For example, I want to draw up like a design, and I pass in like my inputs or prompt the generative machine, and generative machine basically it gives me the response, and all of this happens under minutes. So it helps me as a worker, it helps me to improve my efficiency. I'm able to deliver on the spot. I'm able to achieve better than me actually doing it all by myself. And I think it's one of those things that really like kind of gives that credence even in our time there. So that's like the core, one of the core reasons as regards why prompt engineering is like really important. So we look at some of the common use cases for prompt engineering. So we could see we make use of prompt engineering in text generation, in translations, in summary, in question answering, as well as language understanding. We make use of prompt engineering, all of these use cases. Because of that, I'm not really able to go into details as regards that, but it's something that we have one way or the other be able to like make use of in our day-to-day activities. And in conclusion, I'll say prompt engineering is really like really essential for guiding AI models to provide accurate and relevant answers by effectively shaping their inputs. It ensures precision, relevance, and coherence in AI responses, ultimately leading to smoother and more helpful interactions with technology. And that's really like that's really like a key player in terms of we interacting with technology, for us to be able to get precision on our requests, even as we interact with technologies. I think is one of those things that really stands out for in prompt engineering. And I think that's like this will bring me to the close of the introduction to what prompt engineering is. Thank you very much. I'm over to you, Paul.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that presentation on prompt engineering. It was really, really informative. So, as I said earlier during when we started the event, please, if you have questions, you can start typing them in the chat section of YouTube. We'll see your question and paste it on the screen for everyone to see so that we can answer them in time. Okay, so please make use of the chat section for your questions. All right, so the moment we've all been waiting for, allow me to please introduce Curtis Evans. All right, Curtis, you can share your video now. Okay.
Okay, I've enabled screen share. Hopefully you guys can see it now. Let me know if you can or cannot.
Yeah, I'm about to share your presentation now, but I just want to do like a quick introduction of you so that people will know who exactly you are. So Curtis Evans is a principal academic advocate at AWS with over 20 years of experience in the technology industry. He has worked as a developer, systems administrator, and a data science ops manager for several large corporations. Curtis joined AWS in 2016 and actively works with customers, data communities, and students such as us to leverage services and development tools for building solutions in the cloud. Permit me to say that working with Curtis has been so exciting and so productive. I mean, Curtis has been very, very helpful towards us as a club. Curtis was one of our presenters last year when we talked about reimagining data storage on AWS, if you can remember that presentation. So it's great to have Curtis once again here. Over to you, Curtis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the kind words and the introduction. Well done to you as well, Emmanuel, on your description of prompt engineering and prompt. So Really appreciate all the hard work you guys do there at the University of Lagos AWS Cloud Club. So, continue to reach out to your communities, get people engaged, and, do everything you can to just make sure that everybody's having a great journey as they start to, build careers and lives for themselves around cloud computing. So hey, everybody, thank you all for joining. Paul's already done a phenomenal job of introducing who I am, so I won't rehash that. I will say that I'm coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, here in the United States, which is roughly 6 hours behind you guys. So it's afternoon here, where I know it's towards the early evening or early to mid evening there where you guys are. But again, I want to just thank you for coming along today, and hope you find some good, useful information in what I'm about to share with you, which is a service we have called AWS PartyRock. I am going to go off screen here while I get into the demo. That way you guys can just focus on what we're talking about and watch me run through the tool, as opposed to just viewing me here. So hopefully everybody's okay with that. Before we get into the actual demo, I want to just talk briefly about what PartyRock is exactly. So you've already heard Paul and Emmanuel talk about these different tools and solutions that make up what we know today as generative AI, whether they're large language models, whether they're prompts, and all the other things that are used to come up with these very innovative solutions. What you can think of PartyRock as is it's basically a generative AI playground. And what I mean by that is it's a sandbox environment that's going to give those of you a very easy, low friction way of just experimenting with foundation models, with how to use and manipulate prompts, and do so in a way that's fun, quite frankly. If we know nothing else about generative AI, we know that some areas of it can be very complex, especially when you're looking at, algorithms and parameters and weightings and embeddings and things of that nature. What PartyRock is at least going to do is give us at least a fun way to say, you know what, let's leave the management and the access and the availability of all those other complex things that we don't want to know about now, and just learn what it means to interact with a generative AI solution. So behind PartyRock is what's known as a AWS or Amazon service called Bedrock. Now, Bedrock is that fully managed service that actually provides all of the different foundation models that are going to be available to you to access and use within PartyRock. Bedrock provides within it a bunch of foundation models, not only from Amazon itself with our Titan model, but from some of the other leading AI companies like Anthropic, who has given us the Claude Foundation model. You have access to a product from AI21 Labs called Jurassic 2. And then everyone's pretty familiar with the company Meta that provides us all with Facebook. Their Llama 2 model is in there as well. And what I'll be able to show a little later here in the demo is that as you go and start, playing around in this sandbox that is Bedrock, you'll be able to make a selection between some of those different models for some of the available services. Again, because it's a playground, it's also there to teach us. So think of PartyRock as an educational tool as well too. That's going to allow you to do all of that experimentation, and it's going to also do it to you in what's known as a no-code way, meaning that there is no programming involved, which makes it much easier to be able to just kind of share and collaborate and do things with the people that you want to associate some of your learnings with. And I'll talk about a remix feature here in a little bit that can show you exactly how you can build something, make it available to your colleagues, and then allow them to either use it directly or to extend it in some fashion. Some of the things that PartyRock is going to teach you. Again, it's going to really focus on the fundamental techniques and capabilities that you're going to need to get started with generative AI as a whole. And those things are going to include, an understanding of how a foundation model or a large language model responds to a given prompt. You'll be able to tie some of those things that Emmanuel was able to show in some of the different techniques and use cases to get a better understanding of, okay, if I provide the large language model with this, this is going to be my expected output. And understand too that, we all know that large language models, they're very big. They're just loaded with lots and lots of information and knowledge based on what they've been trained on or how they've been trained. But that information is only going to be as good as the prompt that's actually accessing it. If without prompts, it's just a collection. It's just a bag of lots and lots of information and learnings that have to be unlocked by something. So always think of that prompt as the key that's going to allow you to get to that. PartyRock is also going to teach you how to experiment with different text-based prompts. And again, we'll get into that a little bit. We'll also even talk about chaining. Chaining is one of those things that's done within prompt engineering design that allows you to take one piece of input and then start building a successive chain of different events about that. Think of a very sophisticated generative AI solution to where you want to be able to start with some information from the large language model, but then you may want to, by way of agents or retrieval augmented generation or some other techniques, to be able to go and pull more real time or specific information. A process of chaining is going to be able to help you do something like that. And then finally, one of the other things that a tool like PartyRock is going to be able to do is to basically help you decide which model choice is going to be best for your use case. Imagine taking a singular prompt, running that prompt against something like Claude, seeing what the output is, then running that same prompt against something like Llama 2 or Titan, and based on the various outputs, make a decision as to whether or not this is going to be the right prompt for me. I'll talk a little bit as well about how the PartyRock app works. It's free to use, which is the good thing. One of the caveats, though, is that you will be required to leverage it by way of one of 3 different social media profiles using a login. If you have an Amazon.com account through your AWS services, or maybe even just as a traditional Amazon customer, if you have an Apple ID or if you have a Google ID, I would imagine most of you probably have some form of those 3, more than likely a Gmail account. Use your Gmail account to be able to go out and sign up for the PartyRock application and be able to access it that way. Know too also that PartyRock is a standalone web-based service. You cannot, or nor should you have to have an AWS management console in order to be able to use it. So and Paul and Emmanuel, keep me honest if you see any questions being posted. I will, just try to answer some as we go along. Is everybody now able to see the PartyRock interface that I just switched over to?
Yes,
yes.
Curtis, I can see the interface.
Okay, awesome. So what I'm showing you now is the actual PartyRock UI that's accessible once you go out and access it. And I will also share with you a very easy to follow URL in the comment section there. If you see that, what you would have to do is just go to partyrock.aws, sign up for the service using one of those 3 different methods that I just suggested that you use. And then from that point there, you should be able to access this environment where I'm at. Inside of it, it will talk to you about how, again, some of the things I talked about is that, it's accessible to everyone. It has this very intuitive AI, and based on the actual inputs that you can provide to a playground app like PartyRock, you can basically, by way of input prompts yourselves, say, hey, I want you to build me this type of application that can do this. And just as the way as you would through a chat GPT or any other generative AI based interface, go out and allow the information that you're providing by way of the input prompt to go out and build the application for you. I wish we had time to really go into some of the details and building here, but I want to take advantage of just a short time that I have here to go ahead and just basically pick up on what we already see here, which is several demonstrative apps that is provided by the service once you log into. Here we see one example, which is just a haiku creator. And for those of you that may not be aware, a haiku is basically a form of a Japanese poem. It focuses on, moments in time and this whole sense of, just warm enlightenment. So basically, what this app is designed to do is to say, hey, why don't we go out and basically allow inputs from our users to be able to go and help us generate haikus here. And what I'm going to do is maybe just kind of walk through some of the details and the specifics here. Notice here when I go into kind of a different view of what this application looks like, you now have some configuration controls that you can go and look at. What I'm showing you now is just some of the details about that. Here's a placeholder within this application through PartyRock where you can go and start building this out. And there's also a UI enabled version of this as well too. There's probably some of it that I can show you a little later, but it gives you an opportunity to kind of drag and drop those features and options that you want in there to be able to size them however you'd like to as well. Here I want to go and show this part of the configuration is that here is where this application is going to actually talk to a large language model. In this case, the model Claude. Let me bump this up a little bigger just so everyone can see it. So in this application demonstration here, we're using of those 4 or 5 models that I referred to that's available in the service, we're going to be using Claude. We could just as easily in some instances choose some of the different options, and I'll show that a little later. But here it's going to just go out and do just that, generate a 575 haiku syllable based on any kind of input you put in here. So why don't we just try to build one that's based on the phrase or the simple input winter here. Once I put that input in, it's going to go out and generate just a quick haiku based on the topic of winter. Snowflakes drifting down, that's the first 5 there. Blanketing the frozen ground is the next 7 for the second line. And chili you should add to that as well too. That would be the 6 and 7 syllable. And then winters here, or excuse me, I apologize. Chili winters here would be that last one there, the last 5. So what this thing is doing is not only taking that input that you supply, it's now going to the large language model as an input feed to say, okay, generate me something based on that. Apologies for just a second here, folks. I think I might have to sneeze. I want to get that out. Okay, sorry about that. Still here. Okay, so again, now that we have ourselves a haiku, what we also have is a visual for that haiku. We know that the large language model, which is basically all about text input and being able to generate some form of text output, I want to now show how it is that we're actually able to get a visual output from this as well too. Here we see now, and if we go back to what we were talking about earlier as far as prompt engineering and design, what we are doing now is what's known as a form of prompt chaining, which is a component of prompt engineering. We're basically saying, okay, based on the input that we're getting and the haiku that's being generated, we now want to chain off of that and be able to use an image model, in this case, Stable Diffusion XL, to be able to add more into or derive more output from that input. So not only is the input of winter going to give us a generated haiku based on winter, but it's also going to provide for us an image that's reflective of winter as well too. Why don't we do something similar with spring? And obviously, it'll take the application to go and communicate with the large language model to not only generate the haiku first, and then once we have that generated haiku related to the input of spring, it can now go out and create ourselves a related image as well. So hopefully this is giving you a good idea of how a quick and simple a way to build an application with something like PartyRock can really get you off and going. One of the other capabilities you have with something within PartyRock, and I talked earlier about the learning component, where you're able to go out and collaborate and work with others and be able to share and work off of each other's ideas. There's what's known as this remix factor or remix feature. And basically what you can do is to say, I actually think this haiku creator is really cool. Or if you go out and access any other publicly shared applications that someone has built, you can actually go out and do what's called the remix, meaning you can grab a copy of what's been created and then go and make your own modifications. I want to show just a quick, simple demonstration of how we can go and do that. Here we see right here in this screen that I have the haiku creator, only this time it was remixed by me. And so basically what it is this is my copy of the application, and I'm going out and making my own modifications. I didn't make any changes to the input prompt to the side. I didn't make any changes to the haiku. Here we're still using the Claude model. Notice also, though, that in my version, I can at least go out and change the different type of model that I choose to use as a result, again, which gives me the flexibility there to make those adjustments. But the actual change I did do for this one was on the visual side. And what I'll show you is that the model's still the same, but instead of just doing an image from the prompt chaining, I'm now saying make mine an animal image. So that's my version of modifying that already existing application to go out and do the sort of things that I want to do. So let's see now how that results if I were to go in and put the same prompts in here. I'm going to do winter this time. So while this is processing, what I should expect is not only is this going to go out and create me a 575 haiku about winter, let's now see if the image prompt or if the image model wants to cooperate. Yes, I now have a winter image, but only this time it's responding to my input by saying, make sure you make it an animal as well. Let's do the same with spring and perhaps summer again. And understand too, while I'm doing this, is that oftentimes we're really at the mercy of exactly how well the prompts or the large language models are trained. In this case, the Stable Diffusion XL image model. We don't always get exactly what we expect, but so far so good here. I've got two different animals this time. Those look like, I guess those are baby sheep, I want to call them. And they are in a background that's reflective of the springtime. Why don't we do fall? And the reason I'm going to do fall is because I was trying this out the other day, and I don't know if it'll happen this time, but something did happen that was pretty interesting the other day. Let's see what I get here. Okay, so we've got the haiku, leaves turn red and gold, the crisp autumn air blows through trees, prepare for winter. Let's see what the visual does. What happened the other day was I got a response from the Stable Diffusion prompt saying that, I'm having difficulty creating an image based on what you're asking for. Okay, it didn't give it to me this time. This actually looks more like winter, if you can believe it or not. So I don't think Stable Diffusion in this case did exactly what I wanted. So let me try and do this now. I will say the fall season of the year to try to be a little more accurate and specific with my prompt. And let's see what it generates this time. I see a few questions as well too. Does PartyRock support video and audio? Not live video or audio. Actually, sorry, if I go back to what I was just talking about a second ago, here it is demonstrating that the visual, or excuse me, the image model had something wrong with what I input. So let me change that again. Let me just go with the fall season to see what I get. No video and audio support is available. And then let me see what else was asked. What are the key benefits of using PartyRock? Again, the key benefits is it's basically just going to go out and teach you how to be more proficient and knowledgeable about generative AI and large language models. In the case of the AWS services sense, the natural progression would be for you to leverage and use PartyRock to get more knowledge and understanding, so that then you could go and move into the use of a service like Bedrock to be able to do the development. PartyRock is going to give you that playground sandbox environment to test things out without actually having to go and do it inside of Bedrock, if that makes sense. Okay, looks like this time we did get a little better representation of a fall setting with a different animal there. So, you know, after a few attempts here, it was able to finally land on something that was a little more helpful for us. And again, here's where if I wanted to then go and take, and I'm using just the haiku creator as just a simple, quick example. If you wanted to do something a little more interactive or intuitive, again, you could go and do the remix, make the changes, and then make your version publicly and accessible for others that are there. Let me see. Looks like we have some more questions here. Is there a way to integrate PartyRock with web app building frameworks such as Next.js? There's not. Again, what you would have to do is, excuse me again, I apologize. What you would need to do is take all of those ideas that you are starting to come up with and conjure up using PartyRock, and then be able to take it over into a more feature-rich environment like Amazon Bedrock to start doing your integration with, you know, web applications and development tools and things of that nature. I wanted to see if there were any other apps. This is another example of, and I had to play around with this one as well too. This is a using generative AI to identify famous and popular quotes. And I'll use a couple of safe examples here. Oftentimes, you don't even have to enter the entirety of the quote. And for those of you that may not be, you know, too up on American history, I'll try to help you out with some of these. This phrase here, "Ask not what your country can do for you." As you can see, it's starting to spit out some understanding of it. It was from President John F. Kennedy back in the 1960s when he was elected the U.S. president and, you know, did his inaugural speech. I haven't had a whole lot of success with the Stable Diffusion XL being able to generate the proper image for me. This time it did, thankfully. Here you see, this is a rear view of President John F. Kennedy inside of one of the government buildings here in the United States, which is reflective of, you know, me instructing the image model here to say, add an image for, you know, someone associated with the quote. So it actually did a good job for me there. This next quote I'm going to enter, I'm sure you guys are very aware of, and I'm hoping it won't disappoint us all here because it's so important in our lives. You know, we all know who's very famous for the, you know, "I have a dream" as part of his speech. So let's see if the application can go out here and interact with the information that it has. Okay, so it's accurately associated the "I have a dream" speech with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King actually lived here in Atlanta, by the way, which is, you know, where I am. So, you know, always a proud Atlanta history as it relates to Dr. King. And then now we see that, you know, it does have a fairly decent representative of image of Dr. King delivering the 1963 "I Have a Dream" speech. So, you know, a couple of good examples there. So I think that's enough for what we're showing. I think we're kind of running up on time here. Let me try to spin a little more to see if I can't access some more. Please share your system screen is blurred. Is everybody still having blurred screen images of what I'm presenting?
No, Curtis, your screen is fine from here. So I think it was probably just a network issue with her.
Oh, okay, perfect. Again, I hope that was a really good, just kind of quick and fast intro to what this tool could be. There's a lot of opportunity, again, to go out and just kind of figure out what sort of apps and tools that you want to build. One thing I will point out too is that while I mentioned that the PartyRock service is free, It's free and available for a limited time. And what I mean by that is, because we're making it available free to the public, the large language model, the services, the resources that are used on the back end of the AWS infrastructure to be able to scale this, does incur costs. So there are some governors on to what extent that you can actually use the service while it's free. The good news is that it is pretty generous. As an AWS employee who has done some playing around with the sandbox environment myself and have demonstrated it to other users and clubs, I'm only about 3.6% used in my use, which means I've still got close to 97, 96% of the ability to go out and play with these things. Just know that you probably consume more of your usage credits by using image models as you do text models, because images require more processing power to be able to generate things as opposed to what a text-based model would. So just be mindful of that. None of the information you share with PartyRock is moved back into AWS unless you enable it to do so. It's totally okay if you don't do that. And again, I'll lastly stress that this is a sandbox environment, meaning don't try to use this for any sort of production or commercial use cases. It's literally here for a learning opportunity, and we highly suggest that you use it as such. So why don't I come on back over here to see if there's any additional questions, or if someone wants to pose any questions based on what I just shared here. I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you. Is there a way to know which models are best for different case scenarios when building apps? I think that's really an answer for the application developer, meaning that through your trial and error, through your inputs, through your determination of what's going to be the most desired outputs for your use case, you're going to ultimately decide that. Now, what I would suggest is maybe doing a little bit of research as to where a Claude or a Titan or a Jurassic 2 or a Llama is now in terms of how it's been developed, how large it is going to allow you in terms of how big your prompts could be in terms of size, how many parameters are within a given version that's available. Those are going to be the things that ultimately decide what's going to be the best case, best use case, or best model for your use case. And again, having the opportunity to use a service like PartyRock to go and build an app to verify some of that would be helpful and put you on your way to ultimately arriving at that decision. Let's see another one here. How can I deploy apps created using PartyRock so that others can see and use them? Yeah, so let me, I'll go back and represent again. I'll reshare the screen. So what you will do is, all right. So again, here is where your PartyRock apps exist. Say if I wanted to go and create this or take this quote finder app that I built and share it with other users, I could come here, click on make public and share, and now my app is public. So what I'll do now is I have copied that link, and then I will post it here so that if anyone that's watching today, okay, that looked like it failed to post. I'm not sure why that was the case. Paul, what I'll do is I'll share that link I just made available to you on Slack. And then what you can do is go and share it with the audience here. And then we can make sure that everybody has an opportunity to at least go and confirm that there's an application out there for them that they can access. And what you can also do too is once you connect to PartyRock, you go and do a discover. These are some of the interesting apps that have been built by the PartyRock community that you can already go out and make available. So there's a chat RPG app. Let me just take a look at this. I don't want to run through it entirely, but yeah, welcome to our interactive experience. Basically based on your input, it's going to go out here and put together like a small a gaming experience that you can, basically look to formulate some more thoughts and ideas around. Let me see if there's any others. Local happy hour recommendations. I wouldn't recommend that too much to college students. Let's see, virtual meeting background in it, generator. So yeah, in addition to those apps that are made available to you through the service, you too can make something public, take that link, and then provide it to someone that can go and try it out for themselves. Okay. If there are no other questions, Paul, I'll hand it back to you and Emmanuel. I think we're going to go into a Q&A session now anyway. So floor is yours. Thanks, everyone.
Right. Thank you so much, Curtis, for your presentation and demo. It was really, really fun to see, and I learned a lot personally watching you actually build actual applications and even deploy. Thanks a lot. I think from your presentation, most of the questions here in the comment section have been answered, and I think we've been able to cover virtually all the questions that were posted on the comment section during your presentation. So, and I think so. Yes, I'm trying to still go through the comments to see if we missed any question. But if you have questions, please keep them coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing I'll quickly restate too is I want to emphasize that PartyRock is just your starting point. Use its availability, use its free capabilities to go and just generate some thoughts and ideas, or maybe even validate some of the things that you're thinking about currently. At some point, you'll want to expand or enhance the development of anything that you're working on inside of the Amazon Bedrock environment. Because again, that's where you're going to find more features, more functionality available for you in terms of how you can extend any of your development. And then even if Bedrock is not the environment for you, take advantage of maybe something like a Hugging Face or some of the other kind of open source and available repos where you can go out and build and extend using models, using agents, using libraries, using a variety of different resources that you have available to you to build some generative AI apps.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Curtis. So yeah, as you heard, PartyRock is just a starting point. It's just a way to play around. It's actually a playground. To get more, to get deeper into this, you have to actually go study Bedrock and other, more elaborate models. So thank you so much, Curtis. I think we've actually answered all of the questions here. So I think I'll just go into the next session now, which is actually just doing a brief info session about an ongoing hackathon with AWS PartyRock. So give me a minute. Let me pull up the page. All right. Okay. So yeah, so DevPost is running a PartyRock hackathon that is sponsored by AWS. So I'll just go through it so that it's just an announcement for anyone who is interested. I mean, we just learned about PartyRock now, we learned about generative AI prompt engineering, and we were able to even have a demo here live here. So in case you're having any ideas that you think might be good enough to put out there. In short, any ideas you have is good enough. You never can tell what is going to really catch the eye of people. So we have 10 days to deadline to register for this hackathon and participate. Deadline is on the 12th of March 2024 at 1 a.m. GMT +1. So as you can see, the hackathon is sponsored by AWS. So it is a challenge for all builders to get hands on making generative AI powered applications. So in this challenge, you're going to be using PartyRock and Amazon Bedrock Playground as a fast and fun way to learn about prompt engineering and foundational models to build. Curtis talked about some of the foundational models, and we actually saw them in use while he was building some of the applications to build a functional application with generative AI. So you'll be able to experiment with prompts to build an app based on one of the four challenge categories, or remix a featured side quest app for more ways to compete. So these are some of the requirements. So you need to create or remix a PartyRock app that fits into one of these following categories. So interactive learning experience, such as a virtual science lab, language session, a creative assistant, an experimental entertainment application, and freestyle. So you can see the power of Party Rock here. I mean, you can see music composition assistance, story idea generator. You can see virtual science laboratory. I mean, so you can see so these are like kind of the use cases you should be looking at. So I'm going to post this link in the comment section for anyone who is interested, and also I'll post it on our community page so that you can actually just in your spare time you can go over this hackathon and actually participate. I mean, you can and also there's some blogs and Discord channels that you can actually join to actually get more official information. But so yeah, I think this is really a great opportunity for all of us here after just being taught about Party Rock to actually get our hands dirty. And I think as Curtis explained, you kind of have like you have there's a way it is graded in percentages of use, so you kind of have the opportunity to build a good number of applications before your free trial expires. So you can use this opportunity to actually, even while learning how to use PartyRock, to actually probably win some prizes for yourself. Right. So I posted the link in the comment section. All right. And I'll post it on the community chat too. So yeah, thank you for that. So very soon now we'll be going to the quiz part of this session, which is really fun. I mean, we just learned about AWS PartyRock, and we've learned about um, how to learned about generative AI and prompt engineering, and it's only good if we are able to actually just do a quick quiz to know just to to grade what we have been able to learn here today and just to win some fun prizes for ourselves. Fauzia, please confirm if you are able to speak. Fauzia is our quiz master for today, everyone. Okay, Fauzia, are you there? Okay, I think Fauzia is currently experiencing some network issues. Let me go over to the let me go over to the quiz session and see if I can take it myself. Okay. Please give me a minute to spin up the page. Okay.
Hi, people.
All right.
Uh,
Hello, Fauzia. Yeah, we can hear you now. Please confirm if my screen is visible. I'm sharing a screen.
good morning.
Okay. Let me just see.
You said what?
I think she's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your screen is coming up
I
now.
am sharing my
Yeah,
screen
it's
already.
visible
Can
now.
you see it?
Oh, that's your screen. Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Okay. Okay. Let me share Fauzia's screen instead. All right. So yeah, Fauzia, please you can go ahead.
Hi, I am audible. Can you please let me know if you can hear me? Because my network
You're
is
audible.
very messed up.
Yeah, but you're audible.
You can hear me,
Can you
right?
confirm if Yes, I can.
All right. I can hear you too, Paul. Thank you very much for confirming that. So, welcome to the quiz, people. To join on this quiz, you have to go to menti.com, this one, and you have to use those codes that you can see on your screen right now to join. So, join here, and then we are going to commence. So please go to menti.com and use the codes that you can see on your screen.
Okay.
Mm,
All right. So
is
everyone,
three
while
five
we
seven 1 4.
all right. So go to maintainter.com and enter the code as 83571482. So we're waiting for you
Am
to
I
join.
still audible?
Yes, you are. You are audible for here.
Doesn't look like it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fausia, do we have people joining the quiz already? I think we can commence now.
Give me a moment, please. Okay,
Okay. So
so
we
we
have three
have
players.
three people who have joined already. We're probably going to have to start with those if in another 1 minute we do not have others joining.
Okay. So we have four players now.
So we have four people now. All right, we've got five players now. And
Okay.
I'm guessing we can start, right, Paul?
Yes, we can actually. We can start now.
Hi, Paul. Do you think we can start now?
Yes, we can start now.
First question now. You look at your screen, you find the first question comes up now. Paul, can you see the question on your screen?
Yes, I can. Which of these is true about Amazon PartyRock? So the first option there is it requires either Python or Java programming language. Requires no code, absolutely free. You need an AWS account to use it.
See it on time. Okay, so we have people who have answered already, and we can see the answers on our screen. The answer is that it requires no code. So let's see the leaderboard. All right, we have mhm, we have Samu leading with 843 points. We have V following closely behind with 800 points. Then we have Mo, and we have, how do I pronounce this name? I don't know. So I'll just ignore and move forward. So let's go
Zulu.
to the next one. Sorry about that. I don't want to mess up what you wrote. I'm sorry. So we are moving on to the next question now. And here it comes. So it says PartyRock uses an interface with dash feature, voice control, coding, drag and drop, continuity. Oh, great. So the answer is drag and drop. I remember very well that Curtis mentioned this during the course of his lecture. So let's see the leaderboard now. So we have Samu still leading and V still following. Now, my own question is that how do we have four people on the leaderboard if we have five players? Is it that one person suddenly decided to give up and is not even trying to answer? Let's continue. Here comes the next question. Okay. What is the file format used to define infrastructure resources in cloud formation? So we have JSON, we have YAML, CSV, and TXT. Says everyone has voted. All right, YAML. YAML is the correct one. So we use YAML files to define infrastructure resources in cloud formation. Now let's see our leaderboard. So we still have Samu holding his fort. That's good. Let's move on to the next one. The next question says, I've not seen it. Which of the following cloud storage services can be integrated with Storage Gateway? We have RDS, Lightsail, EC2, S3. All right. So, the answer is Amazon S3. It's the only one on this list that can be integrated with Storage Gateway. So let's see what the leaderboard says. Wow. Someone has been displaced. Hmm. All right, let's continue. Next question. Which of the following is not a benefit of using AWS Lambda? Cost effective for short running tasks, highly scalable to handle some. You can see the question, you can see the answers. All right, so the answer is that it does not require, the answer as written here is requires managing and maintaining server infrastructure And that is because Lambda is serverless. You don't need to manage and maintain any server infrastructure. So we have let's see. Wow. We have V still leading. It's like she does not want to leave that position. No. But let's continue anyways. Question 6. Which AWS service allows you to build serverless applications using containers? We have Fargate, Elastic Beanstalk, Code Deploy, CloudFormation. Everyone has voted. Do you people know Buko? Alright. So the answer is AWS Fargate. It's the one that allows you to build serverless applications using containers. Now our leaderboard. Okay. Alright, so we still have V at the top. Let's move on to the next question very quickly. That's question 7. Amazon Cognito primarily serves which function? So, what's the primary function of Amazon Cognito? I need you people know book. Alright, the correct answer is manage user authentication and authorization. Alright, let's see the leaderboard. V is still leading. Next question, please. We have just 3 players ready. Who is the person that has given up already? Continue. And it's probably the person's network. Oh. We are going to see. In PartyRock, what is the primary purpose of crafting a good prompt? Hmm. It was Emmanuel that explained this part to us. Good, good. To guide the AI model's output. Correct. It's Mo that didn't take part in this round. All right, let's proceed and see how this ends. Question 9. What is the first step in building a PartyRock app according to the prompt engineering focus? Yeah, correct. Everybody got that right. Hmm. Just like that. Next question, please. And that's the last question. That's question 10. So we have all of our 3 players ready. And now the final question says, what does it say? How can you access an EC2 instance remotely to manage it? Of course, you use SSH or RDP connection. Now is the time to see the eventual winner. And hmm, let's see. Of course, V. All right. I'm giving V a virtual. No, it's not actually virtual clap because you can hear me clap. Well done, V. Well done, Samu. Well done, Xylo. I am hoping I didn't mess that up. And well done, Mo. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this. Paul is going to communicate to you as regarding your prizes and how to get them. Thank you, guys, and see you some other time.
All right. Thank you so much, Fauzia, for that. I think it was a really exciting quiz session. So Fauzia actually added some more services apart from PartyRock. I think she just wanted to spice it up a bit. So it just shows that you need to never be caught unguarded. Always have your information. Keep studying, right? I think the questions were really cheap. So congrats to everyone. So now I think there's a prize for everyone who actually participated. So V Simo, um Silo, the XILO, and I think the last person, I cannot remember your name now. Actually, all of you can reach out to me from the community. There's a prize for everybody who participated. But V is going to get a different prize for winning. V is going to get an IoT button and the socks and some stickers, right? Everyone else will get stickers and socks. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So we have come to the end of today's session. It's been a great time here. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Fauzia, and definitely thank you to our special guest, Curtis Evans, for simplifying Patchwork so much that I think it was very easy for us to actually comprehend Patchwork and understand the basis of Patchwork, understand the foundation of Patchwork, and actually and how to use Patchwork. So the deliverables I have is to send. Curtis has forwarded a link to me of the application he remixed, so you can go through it to see what he was able to build. What he did yesterday, he has sent a link to me, and also I'll be sending the links for the hackathon so you can try out in this competition. You never can tell if you can win something. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today. And until next time, stay innovative. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.